So you've started learning a language and you discover that there are some sounds in the language that you have a lot of difficulty pronouncing, and you wonder why that is. Well, I've read quite a lot of books about learning languages. I'll link to the old podcast series where those live. And I know something about the answer to that question. To put it simply, you learnt to speak a different language that didn't have those sounds. To put it more complexly, when you're born, you have the potential to make every sound necessary to speak any language. At that stage, everything is very plastic, as they call it, in all aspects of learning a language. Malleable might be another way to describe it. In other words, your brain can adapt to whichever language it's hearing and being taught. As you begin to learn those specific sounds of your language, you concentrate on those and don't even try to make the other sounds. And what you don't use, you lose, as with many other things. In effect, your mouth gradually loses the ability to easily and naturally move the elements, your tongue, your vocal cords, etc., necessary to make the other sounds. This process goes on for years and years, which means you have a lot of relearning, retraining to do when it comes to the sounds of another language. This is unless you grow up in a bilingual family and you get to practice two sets of sounds. But two sets of sounds still isn't all the sounds. This, of course, is not an exact science and varies by person. Some will retain the ability to make more sounds more easily than others, but those who lose the most will have the most difficulty teaching themselves to force their mouth into making those sounds when they learn a language. I'm lucky. I've never had too much of a problem making the sounds necessary for the languages I've learnt, but they are all European languages, which Europeans tend to hear around them to a certain extent in their daily lives, even if they don't live in the country where that language is spoken. I have not tried to learn an Asian or Arabic language, for example, and it's possible I would have a lot more difficulty doing that. For the record, I have no plans to try. I may also have another slight advantage, and I don't think I'm misremembering this, but I think my mother used to randomly roll her R's just as a fun thing when I was young, and that's where I learnt the ability to roll my R's, because I know I could definitely do it by the time I started learning languages. And I'm pretty sure I copied her. I think also the earlier you start to learn languages, the easier it is. I didn't start learning them till I was 11, but I know that many people start a lot earlier than that these days. In fact, I think it's a requirement in the school curriculum here at present. So don't beat yourself up about not being able to pronounce something perfectly. You might get there eventually. It'll just take a little longer, or you might never get it exactly. But most people in whatever country it is will just be glad that you've tried learning their language, even if you can't get that one particular sound right.